We now go to whānau Manaaki kindergartens in person. Amanda, Alice, Nareta. Good morning. You came perfectly on time. So
I know.
we have 10 minutes with you.
We're teachers, you see. We're always early.
So good morning. I'm Paulo Garcia. I'm actually deputy chair, but just chairing at the moment. Please introduce yourselves. You have 10 minutes with us. Please allow time for questions within that time.
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Well, tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi mahana. My name is Amanda Colston and I'm the Chief Executive of He Whānau Manaaki, an association that operates 108 kindergartens and home-based services around the country from Waihuru to Balclutha. We serve over 5,000 children each day. Some 1,200 of those children identify as Māori. We also operate Piri'anga, Alofa, Pacific and community services run by Pacific people for Pacific people, serving the community for the past 15 years. So as a kindergarten association, we have more than 100 years of experience of working with families and with government agencies to support children, including children in state care. We work holistically and recognise that education and well-being are interconnected. My colleague Narita Strong, a qualified early childhood teacher, is a leader of our largest Pacific kindergarten and helps lead our association-wide learning support network. She is a member of Ngā Taurahiri, our network of kaiako and kaimahi Māori, and works to support diverse learners as well as working in the areas of child advocacy and child protection. Alice Mose Tuialii is leader of our Piri'anga Alofa navigators, trained social workers and community workers who support children, families and communities through our whānau ora and many other social service contracts. Today, we want to tell you how important retention of Section 7AA of the Oranga Tamariki Act is.
Nō koutou, ko Narita Tunga Inunga. I've been a kaiako teacher in Porirua East at our two Pacifica kindergartens, Porirua Nuanua. I'm privileged to have the role of Learning Communities Liaison Teacher, and I'm going to briefly summarise the correlation between our curriculum and Oranga Tamariki Section 7AA. Our early childhood national curriculum that we implement in Aotearoa is known as Te Whāriki, and it includes 5 domains of mana. Mana atua, well-being, mana whenua, belonging, mana tangata, contribution, mana reo, communication, and mana oturua, exploration. Research both here and internationally has contributed to this world-leading curriculum. It shows that children succeed if their culture, language and identity is recognised and nurtured, and their mana is upheld. Section 7AA links to this. Section 8A requires Oranga Tamariki to partner with Māori to benefit Māori children. It gives effect to recommendations in numerous reports about the well-being of Māori children in state care. The section recognises the importance of culture, language and identity to the well-being of Tamariki Māori and to the well-being of all children. To remove it from the Act goes against established research and understood approaches to child health, well-being and educational success. And the regulatory impact statement prepared by Oranga Tamariki themselves states that repeal could undermine the safety, the stability and well-being of children. On this basis, we urge the Social Committee to recommend that the repeal of Section 7AA discontinued. Kia ora.
Alofa lava lo ingoa o Alice Mose Tuialii. Prior to being the team lead for Piri'anga, Alofa Family and Pacific Community Services, I was the team support manager for the Horowhenua Otaki Children's Team. How we view and treat our tamariki Māori affects all children, and from my perspective, in particular, Pacific children and their families. Pacific children have an important place and purpose in the overall cultural structure and the ecosystem of each Pacific nation. Prior to the introduction of Section 7AA in 2019, we worked with children and families who were separated and who, because of placements outside of their hapu, iwi, whānau, were never able to reconnect. Such placements occurred with Pacific children with similar devastating results. Even now, I work every day with children and families who have been separated from their language, culture and identity, who feel less than and isolated in the communities in which they live. This is because their language and culture are not recognised and valued, and therefore they feel invisible and worthless. The removal of Section 7AA gives a loud and destructive message that language, culture, and identity of Māori don't count and it is not important. Therefore, the language, culture, and identity of Pacific peoples do not count either. The removal of Section 7AA selfishly steals these children's rights of their place and purpose within their cultural structure and ecosystem. Tawhatai.
I heard the Prime Minister state in the media that the safety of children must take precedence over cultural considerations, hence the repeal of this section of the Act. This seems disingenuous considering repeal of Section 7AA will absolutely not do that. Moreover, it is our understanding that the rationale for repealing this section is also because, as the Minister for Children states on her Facebook page, Section 7AA allows the treatment of children and young people as an identity group first and a person second. It creates a divisive system that has had a negative impact on caregivers. This assessment is based on stories she has heard from some caregivers. As a Pākehā woman, my partner and I have informally fostered tamariki Māori over the years. We have loved and cared for them as if they were our own. When it comes time for them to return to their whānau, it was hard and it was sad. Of course, we were sad. And years later, we keep contact with all of them and they know we are always there if they need or want us. But we have never questioned the importance of those children returning to their whānau, where their culture, their identity, their mana are inextricably entwined. You can't separate the person from their identity, from their culture. There is no first and there is no second. This is epitomised in the whakatauki, hei oranga nākau, hei pikinga waiora. Positive feelings within you enhances well-being. Thank you for listening to our oral submission. We're happy to take questions from the committee.
Thank you. Willow Jean.
Thank you so much for your submission and the perspective that you bring from those that work with our mokopuna and our tamariki every day. There's so much in it, but if I could just ask, what kind of impact do you think this will have on those mokopuna and tamariki's educational success, given how important education is to their future and to their well-being?
We think it will have a devastating impact because their language, their culture, their identity is the essence of them enjoying educational success. And we have experienced that prior to the introduction of Section 7AA and since then. And it's not perfect, the world's not perfect, but it's certainly a lot better than what it was before Section 7AA was introduced. So we're here because we believe that it will have a devastating impact on the government's wish for educational success of all tamariki, including tamariki Māori and tamariki Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a quick question? Get one more.
We have 80 seconds.
A quick question, Mano Talafalava. It's very interesting that you brought the Pacific perspective to the table and acknowledged that if the access for Māori children is taken away to their whakapapa and their language, then that will have an impact on Pacific children as well. Alice, do you want to just speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I guess I mentioned the cultural structure and cultural ecosystem. Our tamariki Māori, we understand that they have a place within the Māori sphere. That is the same for Pacific children as well. So when you take away that model structure, you take away their placing and their purpose. And I guess, and that's kind of, that's where we're trying to come through, is whatever happens to our tamariki Māori, it will impact on our Pacific children. It's the models and structures that we've been living and been brought up in. It's not recognised if this gets taken away.
This removal of this section of the Act will have far-reaching impacts on all children from ethnicities that are not the dominant white ethnicity, whether it's Asian, Pacific, Māori, because what it says is that identity, culture, language don't count.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Amanda, Alice, and Ngareta.
Thank you.
Our next presenters are